Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, madam.
Perfect. Perfect. So, as Nida ma'am mentioned, I am working currently in Wellness Forever. For those who might not know, Wellness Forever is a leading pharmacy and a lifestyle store with around now 270 plus stores in Mumbai and across the Maharashtra. And we are heavily dealing with lot of stuffs, and I am personally taking care of omni-channel and SCM. I could have chose some different topic when Ms. Bam reached out to me and said, okay, we can start with something for the students. But I believe this is something I which is a buzzword in the market. That is how you are treating your customer. What is your experience? What are the customers experiencing from it? And when you especially choose your capstone projects now, which is a very critical time, I believe, for you. So maybe one of the key capstone projects or something of your portfolio projects you can choose based on this, because every industry is now trying to acquire the customers, and then your customer retention journey starts from the very touch point to acquire them. That is, let's take a very small example in the first, where I would be taking an example of a Swiggy and a Zomato person. Uh, at first you might have compared the prices on the both, like चलो इससे थोड़ा सस्ता मिल रहा है, इससे भी almost उतना मिल रहा है, कहाँ पे deals अच्छी है. You might have checked for the first few months of installing those apps, but at the maybe after 1 month or so, you might have liked some app because of some or other feature in that, or the deals they offer to you, or the personalized messages they send to you. On the basis of that, you might have liked something or the other, and then you are their loyal customer. So once you are their loyal customer, I believe every time now you have to order in a hurry, or you just take the phone and you know where to go. It might be Zomato or it might be Swiggy. So that is extremely powerful customer retention strategies which they use per se. And in the industry, this is now a big norm to make huge profits. So just a disclaimer, whatever is being shared in this PPT is not necessarily of for the wellness forever per se, but this is the general industrial trends, and how you can, you know, leverage these strategies and make out of it. Uh, so why is the buzz? I mean, what is in it? Like, why are all talking about how much customers we acquire, and how we can retain them? So as you can see, the increasing your retention by just merely 5% can increase profits by 125%. Believe me, guys, like when you come to the industry, it is absolutely necessary that you work, and your end game is always the profits. I'm not saying this as a harsh language, but these might sound like some crude terms to you, but at the end, what really matters is how much revenue you specifically generated, especially in our fields where data analytics is something for the strategy decision making. It's absolutely necessary that you keep your one eye always on that. So these numbers are huge, so now you know where to really focus your strategies on. The second point is that the 80% of your brand's future revenue will come from 20% of your existing customers. So all that you acquire, all that money you put on your marketing, all that money you put on getting a new customer on board, but if you know which customers to really target upon, which customer segments you are really working on, so that your 80% of revenue is already ensured. This is not what I am saying. This is something which one of the leading analytical firms like Gartner says. And fortunately, just like in the last week itself, we had a great festival of digitalization in our Wellness Forever, where many huge we were there were multiple sessions of Gartner, and plus there were with the director's permission, there was huge celebration. So just I'd like to add that point, where digitalization is also making a huge difference in terms of every industry, not just per se, and how consume it. So these are some numbers. As you can see, top 5%, 5% of your customers base can account for 30% of your 40% revenue. So what my point was here, that here's why we really need to focus on our customer acquisition and retention thing. uh, Well, to really understand something, I believe when I joined this organization, the first thing I really understood is, to get a domain knowledge and how fast you get acquainted with the domain knowledge is fast how you can make some machine learning models and make use of it. I believe, I know in ages as well, we are told that it's not just the complex algorithms which you build, but how which business cases to be specific you solve. So it is not necessarily that you build a very deep complex neural network model and solve the business case. It might be a simple forecasting technique that will do the magic for you. So likewise, just to understand what customer acquisition is, and I surely know that once you go in the next 2 to 3 months in any industry, you will come across these terms. So just for your sake, just keep a glance on it. So it is nothing but onboarding of a newer customers. Those customers might be, uh, converting your value for you. For example, the type of conversion might be different for different industries. Per se, we have an app. So if a user installs an app and orders from it, that can be my key KPI for my order driven thing. Or let's say if a customer purchases and orders from my app, that is my first customer acquisition. Or if the customer subscribes to one of the key plan, that is my acquisition. So my definition of customer acquisition might change from my business to business per se. And how you do that, I mean, okay, now you know that these are the types of conversion and these might change from business to business, but how you really do it, as in let's say you just type maybe anything. Maybe let's take an example of Amazon. You just type Amazon on your phones, you go on Insta or you go on Facebook, and you quickly see an Amazon ad popping on your window or your story, right? So these are the paid media source which we are talking about. And we as data scientists, we should know the engine and the algorithm behind which it runs. Also, there are some let's say if I am, let's take an example of someone from here where maybe one of you just search something on our app, and you might see an ad there itself on your Insta or Facebook. So that is a paid media source talking to you directly on your phone. Then there is a paid search, of course. There are keywords driven searches. I don't did not need to elaborate on that. I think everyone knows about it. There's a content marketing. This might reap your benefits after some point in time, but yeah, this is something very crucial for you. Affiliate marketing, display advertising. So these are the terms from which you get your customers on board. And on depending on which business you are transacting on, you get the type of conversion which you want. uh, as we know, customer acquisition now is nothing but onboarding your customer and making his first purchase or making his first app to download. But customer retention is something far more, I mean, crucial. Not to dismiss one over the another, but your customer retention also is now categorized as a customer acquisition part in itself. Because there are touch points of your customer. There is a customer journey, and in every customer journey, there are certain touch points, and your first customer retention period starts with your first customer acquisition. This is not what I say, this is what Google Analytics says, that your customer retention journey starts when you first time interact with your customer. This is not just, I think, okay for the online thing. This is also okay for your offline thing. You go to the store and you find an amazing experience, of course you will go there again, right? So there are some paid retargeting strategies. Let's say there is a customer X who comes to me from Google, that he saw an ad of uh, some of my app or my purchase, and he just clicked on it, and he purchased. Now, as that data is now stored with me, but I know this is my customer, but he has not opened that app since he installed. He's just searched here and there, and now he is just sitting at it. Now all that logs of where he went in my app, what he did on my app is all there. Now I need to build some models on the basis of that, and then make a targeted strategy, and again remind him that, okay, now you have this app on your channel, or you have this app now again do something. So when he clicks on that link which he finds again on the Facebook, he is again redirected to our app and he makes his first purchase. So that is reattribution and not customer acquisition. So under customer attribution acquisition, there is attribution and there is reattribution, and then there is again retarget marketing. So what why I'm telling you all this is, so these are all the parts of your customer journey and customer acquisition and retention part. So every time you interact with customers, you store their data somewhere, then you run your algorithms, you understand the data, you run all your algorithms, you define the problem statement, and then you again do something on that. So that in turn then reap you results in the future. I think I would little stop here before going further and touching on the point that how data science is useful here and what we can do as data scientists. So I would like to stop here and hear from you guys that are there any specific doubts in your mind or regarding what all we tried to cover in this at this time, or is there any specific questions? I would like to hear from you now. Are there any specific? Please feel free to ask anything till what we covered.
Participants, do we have any questions?
I have one question.
Yes, Siddhant, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, Siddhant, you are.
Yeah. Suppose because you have mentioned that one line that as fast as we gather some domain knowledge, it's always the better for us. So if we suppose your field, that pharmaceutical industry, so if I am interested in gathering some domain knowledge regarding this industry, what should be my path? Where should I start, or like how should I start gathering that domain knowledge?
Okay.
Like, yeah.
To answer your question very honestly, Siddhant, I believe it starts when you enter into the industry which you really want to enter. Of course, the preliminary part of it where you can gather the information, reading research paper, uh, maybe doing some case studies, going on Kaggle and finding data sets, then reading the description and every attributes on that there are ways, I believe. uh, I said domain knowledge is extremely important when you work in that industry. Let's say if you worked in manufacturing industry before, and you after doing your data science course, now again you are into a manufacturing industry. There, first you need to have a detailed domain knowledge. That is what I meant. At this point in time, I don't think that you can, there are a lot of domains. How many domains you will get the knowledge of? So that's the answer, I believe.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
My point, or do you have a rebuttal on that?
So can we target like some domain which is more fancy these times for solving any problem, business problems? So, like we are a student right now. So can we target some domain?
You can. Of course, you can. You can target some domains, but don't make a dogma out of it that you will just go into that domain before, because you never know what opportunity might land up to you in next couple of months. Don't just be that I just want to go into, unless and until you have niche skills and you know that exactly where I need to take my career. Don't take into it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello, Pranav. Rishabh here.
Yes, Rishabh. Please tell me.
I want to know that what is your daily routine?
Rishabh, it's more of a dynamic routine I follow. I mean, mostly it starts with the scrum calls, where you take in the scrum calls, you understand what work was completed. There are certain vendors which works for us. So were they able to, finish their tasks in time? Are there any new requirements which are coming in? So all those stuffs. And then there are board meetings where VPs also on the daily basis monitor what is the current status, how we are doing in terms of which KPIs, what are our sales, etc. And then we start our routine analytical stuffs, where we. But to answer your question in a short, I believe It is more of a dynamic thing where we know what there are certain projects we are working under, but you never know what kind of data analytics you might need to perform today on the basis of tomorrow. So yeah, it's completely dynamic for now.
Thank you, Pranav.
Yes, Rishabh. Thank you. Thank you. I think we can, continue with the presentation remaining part of it, and then we can take the next set of questions. Will that be fine?
Yes, Pranav, please go ahead.
Yes. So now that we know, how important customer acquisition and retention is for any domain or any industry per se, but what we as data scientists can, do and leverage it from our perspectives. So first of all, it always starts with data, right? So there are entries, too many entries of sales, purchase. So that is what we call as a transactional data, or data which is already there sitting on your system, and it's always present. Now that we have that data, we also have the data and the user profiles of, and the customer profiles, what they are doing on an app, how are they typing CRO, CIN, or are they just typing CRO? How many customers are leaving after typing just CRO? That also data we have. Now you just can imagine what kind of data is already sitting in all the companies, I think. So those are the web clicks, your click throughs, your view throughs. Just to make familiar you with these two terms. What is click through and view through? View through is you see an ad. Okay, the Wellness Forever app popped up on your screen. You just went through and just saw it for a minute, saw it for a second, then you went. That is my see through ad, and you clicked on that ad. You went to our page, you buy something or you didn't buy something. So that is my click through. So how many my click through conversions are, how many my web through conversions are, all this information is also sitting with. Now this is what we call as big data, because there is a transactional entries of so many sales, purchase, everything, and there is this each user customer level entries also generated. Now there your SQL skills comes really handy, where Hadoop and all your systems are integrated. You also have a Kafka for your life system integration, and then you try to make a sense out of those data first. So what data you require for your project? So if you define some project, let's say I took an example here of a predictive revenue model, that I want to predict how much will be my revenue for the customers who will be also a part of my predictive modeling, and how I can cost optimize them on the basis of that. Let's say I want to do this kind of project. I'm just taking an example. So this is something new which has come to the market. If you really see, I want you to all go and read about this, that what is a proof of concept. So this is a new term where you just define your baseline strategy, that okay, this is my baseline model, or this is my model, because there are already Google Analytics thing working out already, lots of analytical tools in play where you already get the results on it. So why you build a model and deploy and all those, why you need to do those things? But of course you need to do those things because those are just models for the generic usage and the generic purpose. For your case, for your business purpose, it will be completely different, but you need at least a baseline model to start with, and that is where your proof of concept comes. So you have to first define that. Then let's say you have to define your every KPI, that is your key metrics, what you really want to measure in this. For example, here I want to measure my predictive revenue. So what will be my revenue? It will be my conversion rate, that how many customers have converted into my predictive average order value of those customers per se. Then your model building thing will come. Model building will always have two things, guys. It's never out of the world. It will have either a regression problem or it will be classified as a classification problem. Or of course there are scenarios where we try to see both. But here as well, I'm trying to make this as an emphasis that these simple models only help you a lot. These basic models only gets you where you really want to go. So just like focusing on that thing, that focus on the basics. Extremely important. What is classification? Exactly where you will be, applying those classification modeling skills. That is exactly one. So here I just defined that, okay, this is will be my one, that is the customer has being converted in my 90 days, zero that the customer has not converted in the 90 days. And for the regression model, I just saw that what is my average ordering value for those customers, and I put it into my regression model. So on the basis of that, I'll train my model. I'll see what the results are and then deploy, and then again compare those models with my baseline models again, which are at play. Then in real time, I think what is the difference between academic projects, which we all do, and the real time company projects, which all do, is the feedback loop. It goes through a lot of iterations. It's not that you build a model, you even deploy it, but that's done. No, that's not done. That's just the start. Believe me, guys. So after that, the real point comes where it will go on. Different departments will analyze your model, see. Then there will be different conditions which will be put into it, and then your iteration process will start. Then your enhancement process of the model will start, and then the model will continue. And at final, after 3 months of maybe monitoring, you can then sign off this project and say that, okay, this model is working, and this is the best model which I have. So make aware of that feedback loop which I am trying to call. This will really help you. And also it's extremely critical that what data quality you are putting in for your model. So garbage in is garbage out. So be very, very sure whenever you work on any projects that what is the data you are dealing with, because the quality of your data determines the quality of your model. Always that's true in any case. So data cleaning, data wrangling, not just in terms you do on Python, but also in terms of what you select, which data you select for your model. That is also extremely important. These are some actionable use cases. Maybe I'll stop after this actionable use cases because in the interest of time, we have to take the questions as well. But I want you to focus on this slide where if you can, take each of this topic, each topic will take you to, come maybe 2 days to 3 days. You'll just find that if you just see customer segmentation and targeting, you'll find so many case studies on this. And of course, domain wise, it will be different, but this will be extremely helpful if you can take one case study per se and try to develop a model on it, because everything here written is something which is a key trend in the market, and especially in retail market per se, especially in any market you take this real-time personalization, where maybe I am a 60-year-old guy, you'll not show me you'll not show me something which is not relevant to me. You will show me only those marketing products which are targeted for me as a 60-year-old guy or as a 80-year-old guy. So that is extremely important. But when you study deeper, when you analyze deeper, when you maybe research deeper on this, you will also find an extremely different view where currently 60-year-old guys are gymming. They go to gym, they exercise regularly, and maybe if you just give them an ad of an adult diaper, that customer might get offended as well. So there is no generalization in data science. So you cannot just generalize and make rules that this is what I want to do for this set of customers. No, you cannot just do that. So you have to understand that customer, you have to understand their behavior pattern, and not just select everything on just one parameter or two parameters. You have to take multiple parameters in line and then develop something for them. So that is one thing. So this is all on dummy data, but just to tell you what is organic. So what I was talking, impressions, that is maybe someone just saw this ad this many number of times of all the customers. These are the clicks, that is these customers clicked on that. Or organic and non-organic, as I said, if you guys remember, I said something about attribution and non-attribution. That is, you came from Google, you are a customer attributed to Google. So if you came from Facebook ads, you are a customer attributed to Facebook ads. So all those customers who are attributed to some media source, that will come under your non-organic. But my organic will be genuine, as in you really typed in medicines, you went on our app, you purchased from us. So you are my organic customer. That is, you came directly searching by yourself. Everything you are, this all things which you can see here, right, is the output of some models. So finally, these models again has to be, put into your dashboard, because if you try to explain everything to the upper management, what you did, which algorithm you built in, which Python code you ran, they are not interested in that. They are interested in what output they are seeing. That these are the customers, these are their revenue, these are their ABV, this is your average billing value, this is your RPU, that is your revenue per user. They are interested in all those things. So you have to make your model in a way, and you have to deploy your model again on your dashboards, maybe on Power BI or maybe using Tableau, and then you will have to show them to the end customer. Per se, the end customer here will be your upper management again. So you have to be also aware of that. I think that's is all from my side. As in, you can also do campaign analysis based on which campaign give you the click throughs more, which campaign really made your user converted. So all these steps are always there. You can this just gives you, I believe, a gist, or this just might instill that curiosity in you, that how much can be done in this space. That is what was my motto, was to just instill that curiosity in you all. And maybe you can take this further. Maybe next time when we'll meet, we'll also talk about inventory management systems and the optimization of your inventory, your purchases models. But all those things are very okay, but these things, I think, where customer is interacting, these are interesting things for me as well. So I thought, well, why not to choose these topics and to start with. So thank you. That is all from my side. Any specific questions regarding to anything, I'll be happy to take them.
Participants, do we have any questions? Few things that I would want you to cover, Pranav, for the participants is, yes, something that you said rightly, that you need to show the visualizations. You cannot just show the code to the customer, or to your VP CEOs, and you need to show them the output results. So one thing that I want you to talk about to the participants is the importance of visualization, and the way in which you display your data. It is not the code at the end of the day that is being seen, but what you are able to display using that code. That is something, if you can put some light on. And
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely.
apart from that, I would also want you to share your journey, not your journey, or you can say how many placement offers did you get, and how did you choose which one to go for, and your preparation, when did you start your preparation for the interviews, how was your preparation done. So these points I would definitely want you to share with the participants.
Okay, ma'am. So regarding the first question, uh, I believe, I don't know why, but there's this uh, I believe dogma, or per se perception, that data visualization is not data science. It is just the BI part. Uh, I don't know why this has came up, but in the industry, especially in Indian industries, uh, at one point in time, I believe Excel was a thing where even an accountant was, forced to learn that as a technology. And everything still, Excel is hugely anticipated and still being used under in all of the fields. So currently, dashboards, any dashboards per se, are your new Excel. I'm not saying Excel is undermined or something of that sort, and nothing to compare one against another, because of course, but uh, your dashboards is something in people and the upper management. And I'm not saying upper management, upper to upper management, your directors, are they look at it and they take decisions. So dashboard is not just historical legacy which you put on and the numbers which you show, but they are the the key decision making points, where you see the dashboard and you get the action oriented insights from that. that, okay, I want to do this and this is how you should go. And the best way the dashboard can have an insight is that it is integrated with an ML model. So what I'm saying is, you have a data sitting in your SQL or my bucket. You pull out that data, you do some analysis, run some code, you make it into a model, and then deploy that model again, and then maybe you deploy an UI. That is a different issue. But if you want to again store that information as a flat file, put it in your SQL server again, and that from that SQL server, pull that data, pull that output on your dashboard. So this is also a process. And if you are done with that process, you will see the model's output, and just imagine the power of Power BI or a Tableau integrated with machine learning strategies. That is done in your AWS, in your Azure data factories, where you store the models, where it is used as a storage containers. And on the basis of that, you are then displaying your output. The power of that output is increased 7x times, rather than just displaying a output that 1001 or something of that sort. So you are absolutely right, ma'am, when you say that the display of your output, maybe it is just a simple UI of HTML where you just select, drop and down, and then you deploy it. That is also cool. But yes, how you display it, how you convince them that yes, this is useful for you, and you can only convince them when you go on that simple level. That is only the thing you can do. That is the first question. I think the second was regarding my journey with Aegis, and how I prepared for the interviews and this stuff. I'll just share my experiences, right? That those like before 5 months down the line, I was uh, before 5 months, I was just a regular student at Aegis, and after now, now I am standing and just sharing my experiences, I will say. But I it was an online, like it was a COVID time, and at the time of the COVID, I was previously working in Accenture as a product owner. And in Accenture, there were times when you get a very structured kind of work. There is a hierarchy in place, there are structures in place, processes in place. But at some point in time, you realize that you need to upskill yourself and uh, do something better from it. So at that point in time, I realized that okay, I want to upskill my skills, and it's the time I should do something out of it. Then I decided to completely leave the job and focus on my post graduation. uh, I think the curriculum in ages really helped me a lot, starting with Python basics, then SQL, and then finally going deeper into the ML part. Then your DL part came, NLP part came. But the most foundational work was done on those first 6 months, where every step of your machine learning processes were explained. And moreover, your how machine learning interacts with Python, and how machine learning also interacts with SQL. That integration, when you comes to know, and then you really try to understand, okay, that this is the use case I am really working on. I was fortunate enough. Maybe Rishabh has also joined. Pranav is also there. I was fortunate enough to get great friends here, uh, because we were motivated enough to work in groups, and working in groups really helped us to overcome and solve each other problems. That okay, now maybe Pranav is very good with SQL and Python, and I'm good in understanding the patterns and some of that sort. And then we can combine our knowledge into the same and produce some great results. So that things happened when we really started working on the case studies. So I think it was a step-by-step process, where first we learn the basics, then the implementation part of it, and then further after implementing those projects, then we learned how to use it, and then display it on the maybe Tableau, which we learned. So that was it. Apart from that, I like everyone. Like I know Taranjit ma'am, the discussions around the placements and how we were prepared for that. Uh, there were multiple offers. I believe there were 3 offers for me, and choosing Wellness Forever is, I think, was one of the best decisions I can take. And thank you, Taranjit ma'am, also for adding me for the same. But
Always welcome, dear.
yes, it's a amazing task to have multiple offers. It's and that confidence which you get from that is different. It also reflects in your work, I believe. When you join that organization, it gives you a feel that you chose something. uh, that has happened. So I'm confident that you have an amazing mentors there, and you will get going once the time comes. Just be confident and just study. I mean, study as in focus on basics. Interviewers don't go mostly. I mean, I don't. There are companies which go deep learning and NLP stuffs as well, because those companies are of those kinds. But focus on Python, focus on ML. Why this algorithm? What is a mathematical, not mathematical derivation? Don't do maths. Just see the intuition part, how well you are with the intuition part. You know why this model can be used here. If you know that, I believe you can crack most of the interviews. And moreover, the SQL part, don't I mean, the most important subject I believe is an SQL. You must know, because any big data thing also, if someone is also interested in data engineering part of it, you still be needing SQL in Hive. You still be needing SQL anywhere you go. So don't solve hacker rank as much as you can. Make your foundation extremely basic, that rock solid foundations, and then you can take it and make play with the interviewer there, I believe. Then you can do anything you want. But the first part is to get that confidence on yourself, that okay, now I know this, ये मैं गलत नहीं बोल सकता हूँ. So that comes when you study, practice. So just do that, and don't worry about how many companies are coming in. That all things will be taken care by the Ranjit ma'am and the team. Don't need to worry about that.
Thanks, Pranav.
Participants, do we have any questions for Pranav?
Anything from the topic itself or anything else you want to ask?
How to plan our career from now. I'm the student of the September batch, and I know the basics of like ML, SQL, and Python, and stats also. I did also projects, a few projects in this in all these things, but as always, I'm confused about how to plan, because we left out of 7 or 8 months, and I'm so much confused how to plan the career, how to choose which types of problem we need to solve. So I'm confused about those things. Can you please clear?
Yes, Aditya.
Yeah.
Yes, Aditya. Sure. Now tell me how much months are remaining for your campus placements to start?
7 months approx, I think, in August.
Yeah. So there are 7 months with you. That's what you
Yes,
said.
yes, sir.
Don't plan all this. Just plan the study.
No,
I mean,
in about
I
study.
agree. I get your vibe. I get your vibe.
Sometimes we becomes overconfident about ourselves, and we are not able to perform much good. So I'm thinking how to plan, because I did small projects, like in every domain I did small projects, but about end-to-end projects need to do. I'm not much good in SQL. No, much good in HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. So I'm always confused how to plan, how to make those projects end to end, and what to choose.
Correct.
So can you please clear out on this problem?
Yes, absolutely, Aditya. I get your vibe. It is very obvious to get anxious. Uh, it's very obvious that you worry about things. But I think you should drive your energy into that planning thing which you already said. A very good question, a very pertinent question. I believe that this might be a question of many students out there as well.
Yes.
So uh, I think define what you really want to focus on. You know your strengths, you know your weakness in terms of subjects, in technical subjects, not in general weakness and strengths thing.
Yes.
You know your weaknesses, and you already said, right, HTML is something you want to focus on, JavaScript is something. But as I said, these are the things which will come later. But first, there are 5 basic subjects which are already defined for you. First is your Python. Second is your SQL. Third is your BI, any tool which you will take. Fourth is your machine learning. And the fifth one is statistics. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So these 5 subjects which we do know, that's what I will say again. Focus on that. Focus on that in a way that you know it's end to end. So when I say you know SQL, I'm not just saying you know those inner joins, you know those left joins, but there are very specific difficult questions that you might get in assignments or at ages. Focus on that. Just try to do it yourself. Don't I mean for the I know we sometimes tend to help each other out there. Help each other, that is a different thing, but at first the first try should be from you, then take a help. So
yes, sir. My conversation is always about choosing the projects. Like we know the basics. I'm from a CS background student, so I know the basis of everything. But the thing is, like, I'm confused about how to. Just like I know that I know SQL, I know Python, I know everything, like in basic subjects like stats. But when how to plan as of next? Now I don't. I'm always confused how to plan as of next, because I think I know. But when we try to solve some problems like bigger problems, then I get confused.
So for that, especially in project, if you are confused about what project you need to choose, I think what you should do is, if you already know the basics which I am talking about, then you should define the project line. What I mean by that is, just choose any real life projects. What I'll just tell our example. So we had built an website where we are just predicting how much amount of waste will be collected from which ward. It seems very simple, but once you get the data on the registers where handwriting is also not clear to us, then you will get the steps which you are already talking about. So that's why I said define and choose the real life projects if you have time, and you have time in this case.
Yes, sir. We have 7 months.
So you can definitely do something of this project where end statement might not be a too great statement, but if that is a real life project and you know where you are heading on, you will get that steps by yourself. So in our case, if you can make an analogy out of this, in our case, first we got a register which had several entries, and written entries of things where we had ward A, B, C, D, and the areas and the waste that is collected and dumped on some dumping ground. We just had this as a problem statement. Now they have to make the resource allocation on the basis of those dump which they get. We didn't know what we'll develop, but what we know is, at least from what machine learning algorithms, what we can do is, I was not even from the CS background as you mentioned, but what I know was, okay, now I know prediction. I know how to do prediction modeling. What I'll do, I'll just predict the waste. That was my first problem step. But I need to do that. I need to, define what are the areas, what are the parameters for my project. I started with them. So go one step by step. First do this step, then do this step automatically, and brainstorm. Just don't work alone in the project. I'll repeat. When you work alone, that might be an advantage for few people. Some researchers might tend to work alone on few things, but when you are in group, there is that consistency and there is that brainstorming which happens, which will eventually lead you to some best problems, and those best problems will have the best solutions. So work on group and go step by step. You will crack it.
So you know any platform except Heroku for implementing end-to-end project, which is good for us to implement?
I'll let you know. I'll just contact me.
I'm on your LinkedIn, sir. If you want, you can.
Don't call me sir and all, bro. I am
okay. You are senior writer.
just call for. So yeah.
Okay.
we'll connect on that.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this help.
Pranav.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Participants, do we have any more questions for Pranav? I think we do not have any more questions. Participants, any more questions for Pranav? Okay, I think we don't have, so I think we can close it over here. Thank you, Pranav, for taking out time from your schedule and sharing insightful knowledge with the participants. And definitely, I'm sure the participants also are looking forward with more sessions with you. So definitely. And thank you for sharing your the journey about your data science, and currently, and moreover, the insight of what happens when you join the industry. That is something that the participants are really interested in knowing. The academic part is known to them, but what exactly happens when you said you enter into a domain which you're not aware of. Then the first thing you need to get is a domain knowledge. Yes, that is something very important, because you can't work onto models or anything until you don't get that domain knowledge. So sharing this information was really helpful, meaningful for the participants, I'm sure. So thank you Pranav, thank you once again.
I've also shared my LinkedIn and email, so those who wants to get connected with, they can, and I'm always happy to share whatever experiences I have.
Sir, I'm already connected. I will text you on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Pranav. Thanks a lot. So it makes me really feel proud, when you started talking about your experience and, how people can prepare and how are you looking at and how eventually you are implementing whatever you have learned.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's really interesting, and you made it really
Absolutely.
simple to understand.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Pranav.
Yes.
Looking forward to see you here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Pranav.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you for all the participants for attending the session, and once